Okay, welcome back, everyone. Today, we're digging into some really fascinating source material a listener sent over. It's actually a transcript from a YouTube video, and it's a first-hand account. Pretty chilling stuff.
Yeah, it really is.
So this deep dive is all about this very personal story from a novice monk. He's from Buriram province in Thailand.
All right.
And it's not your usual kind of source, is it?
Yeah.
It feels like a direct look into this, well, terrifying supernatural encounter he had right there inside the temple grounds.
Exactly. And our, let's say, mission here is to unpack what he describes, the sequence of events.
Yeah.
And look at the entities he talks about, specifically this pop ghost he mentions.
Right, the pop ghost.
And also explore the traditional beliefs and the protective stuff that comes up in her story. It's quite central.
It really is. And right away, the source kind of sets the scene by telling us about the novice before he became a monk. Gives you some context.
Which is important here.
Definitely. He says he was pretty rebellious, actually dropped out of school, was just sort of hanging around, not doing much.
Idle, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently his grandmother was worried, so she took him to ordain under his grandfather.
Long Ta-soon.
Long Ta-soon, who was actually a deputy abbot, so quite a respected figure.
Right, so you see the setup. Long Ta-soon is trying to give him some, structure, but the novice himself admits he was hard work.
For years, it sounds like.
Yeah, lazy, skipping morning rounds, chores, chanting, basically avoiding everything.
Just getting comfortable in Long Ta-soon's kuti.
Exactly. And a kuti is, just a monk's room, their living space. But it sounds like maybe Long Ta-soon's was a bit too comfortable for him at the time.
Right. So then things change. Long Ta-soon gets older, he gets sick, and he decides to transfer the novice. He sends him to study under another deputy abbot, Phra in a different area.
Hoping this new environment, maybe a different approach, would, set him straight. Turn him into a good person, as the source puts it.
And it seems like Phra was just the ticket for that.
Oh, yeah. The novice describes Phra routine as way stricter.
Like total opposite.
Totally. Cleaning the temple, all the chants, morning and evening, confessing transgressions, studying Bali, studying scriptures, every day.
Wow.
And the novice says he basically had to cooperate because, Phra was stern, and it was unfamiliar territory. He couldn't slack off.
He even mentions getting disciplined pretty harshly sometimes, like brought him to tears.
Yeah, it sounds like a real wake-up call for him.
So right around this time, another person comes into the picture.
Shang.
Ah, Shang. Yes.
A young guy, maybe 17, 18. And the term xiang means he used to be a novice.
Right, an ex-novice.
But he sounds quite different from our novice. Educated, smart, helpful. Apparently, the previous abbot had entrusted him to Phra before passing away.
So he has this connection to the temple hierarchy.
Yeah, and he'd often come help out, sometimes even stay overnight with Phra, apparently after arguments with his own grandfather.
Interesting. And what's notable is that these two, the rebellious novice and this more seemingly put together Xiang, they actually become friends.
Yeah, companions in the temple, despite the differences. Okay, so now the story really shifts gear. The first really strange evening.
Here we go.
The novice and Xiang are hanging out late in Xiang's kuti. They were probably going to, play games on their phones or something.
Sounds likely.
Because Phra, thinking they'd be noisy, switched off the Wi-Fi.
Aha, preemptive strike.
Right, so plan A is out. Xiang then suggests finding something else to do and points to Phra's shoulder bag hanging nearby.
Okay, bit random, but all right.
So Xiang gets the bag down and starts taking things out.
And this is where it gets interesting, the contents.
Yeah, talismans, a ritual knife, a meadmore, you called it?
Yes, a meadmore. They're believed to have protective powers, sometimes used in exorcisms.
Okay. Then prayer beads, a specific amulet called an ungung kui ne, like ngung with red eyes.
Yeah, often linked to mystical protection or charm, that kind of thing. And just other protective charms.
Yep.
Shang apparently said they came from all over.
So the novice is probably watching this thinking, okay, Xiang's maybe not just the helpful ex-novice I thought he was.
Exactly. Then he notices something else. On Xiang's bed, there's a golden tray.
Right, with a palm leaf manuscript wrapped in thread.
And Shang tells him it holds spells and knowledge from the previous abbot.
But the abbot apparently didn't want to teach him at first. Called it nonsense compared to proper study.
Right, but Xiang described as stubborn, kind of like the novice himself.
He persisted.
And eventually the abbot taught him some things. Enough, Xiang claimed, that he could do duties like a sapphire.
Which is like a funeral director, involved in rites.
Sort of, yeah. Often handling things related to death and rituals. So Shang has this hidden depth, this inherited mystical knowledge.
Okay, so set that stage. Now, the haunting begins. For real.
Deep breath time.
The novice goes back to his own kuti to sleep. Alone. And he starts hearing sounds.
Outside.
Yeah, from the rubber plantation nearby. Footsteps on dry leaves. Circling his kuti.
Circling. Yeah, that's creepy.
Then scratching. On the concrete floor, right near his door. The sounds then seem to move off towards Xiang's kuti. And at the same time, the dogs in the temple just start howling like crazy.
That image. A peaceful temple, rubber trees at night, scratching, howling dogs. It's potent.
But his first reaction isn't even fear, it's annoyance.
But which is kind of understandable if you're trying to sleep.
He gets up, yanks open the door, yells out at where the sounds were, sees nothing, not even the dogs.
And the sounds stop.
Yeah, they stop after he yells. So he goes back inside, but he forgets to lock the door, maybe just groggy or rattled.
Big mistake.
Huge. He lies down, feeling super sleepy, like unnaturally heavy.
Okay.
And as he's lying there, he sees a shadow past the door curtain. The curtain doesn't go all the way to the floor, right?
Right.
And he just sees legs. Human-like legs walking past. He starts drifting off anyway, but then bam! The smell hits him. Strong, foul, fishy, filling the room.
That's just viscerally horrible.
The smell. And then he feels something on his foot. Cold. Wet. Licking his foot.
Oh, God.
His first sleepy thought is, oh, it's a temple cat. They sneak in sometimes.
Okay, rational attempt.
But then he realizes the tongue feels way too big for a cat. And the licking isn't gentle. It's like aggressive, like it's trying to consume his foot. And the smell is overpowering now.
Okay, panic stations.
He forces his eyes open. And the scene. The creaky door is open. The curtain's blowing. Outside, he sees a big black dog just standing there.
Dead dog again.
And inside, at the foot of his bed, an old woman, messy hair, eyes totally black, no whites.
Jeez.
She's hunched over his foot, mouth wide open, licking it. And muttering.
Muttering what?
At first he can't make it out, then he hears it clearly. Which means, I could do it to him, so I'll do it to you.
Wow, okay, that is specific and terrifying. Targeted malice.
He screams when he properly sees her. She looks up, they make eye contact.
And he freezes.
Totally paralyzed with fear, can't move a muscle. And seeing him frozen, she starts moving closer, up onto the bed towards him.
Oh, no.
But just as she's leaning right in, the black dog outside growls loudly.
The dog intervenes.
Seems like it,
Yeah.
because instantly there's this sharp sound from outside.
Yeah.
Don't like a stick hitting something hard.
Okay.
The old woman shrieks, like in pain. And the novice notices her tongue looks dark, almost black. She scrambles off the bed, runs out.
And then...
As she runs out, he hears the dog yelp like it got hurt.
Yeah.
Then, just silence.
Complete silence. Wow, what an encounter.
He says he just lost consciousness after that. Woke up around 5 a.m. when Xiang came in.
Xiang just strolls in to wake him for morning rounds.
Yeah, notices the door's open. The novice is obviously completely freaked out, startled by Xiang even being there, can't explain, just bolts out, still totally shaken.
I bet. How do you even process that?
And then the next morning gets even weirder. They're on morning rounds,
Yeah.
and Frog Crew starts joking
Joking about what?
about the novice leaving his door unlocked. Says something like, careful the dogs don't bite you. And then he and Xiang just laugh together.
Laugh after what he went through. That's confusing.
Yeah, the novice is just bewildered. He knows it wasn't a dog.
So later, he tries to talk to Frog.
He tries. He still can't quite explain everything, the sheer horror of it. He just asks Frog Crew if maybe he could move his kuti, closer to Xiang's.
Seems reasonable after that night.
But Frog Crew and Xiang just laugh again. Tell him to reconsider.
What? What?
So finally, the novice just blurts it out. I saw a ghost, an old woman. She was licking my foot.
Okay, lays it bare. And Frog Crew's reaction.
Unbelievably dismissive. He just says, oh, there are ghosts everywhere in the temple.
Everywhere. Like it's normal.
Apparently. He tells the novice, just sleep there tonight. If you really can't handle it, we'll figure something out later.
Wow. So tough love or something else. He basically has no choice but to stay.
Exactly. So, second night approaches. He's terrified.
I would be too.
He begs Xiang to sleep in his kuti with him. And Xiang agrees.
Okay, at least he's got company. Back up.
So the novice is lying there, totally restless, listening for every little sound. Shang tells him, just sleep. Nothing's gonna happen.
Easy for him to say.
But then the novice notices Shang isn't asleep. He's lying there, eyes wide open, just staring up at the ceiling.
Ah, so Shang knows something might happen.
Seems like it. The novice tries to whisper something to him, but Shang just puts a finger to his lips. Shh, be quiet.
Okay, the tension is back.
And sure enough, the sounds return. But this time, they're not outside on the ground.
Where are they?
On the roof, footsteps on the tiles circling above them.
Oh, great. It's elevated its game.
And then the voice. Same voice.
You get him come on, I don't know.
I couldn't do it to him, so I'll do it to you. Back again.
The novice is losing it, tries to shake Shang. Like, did you hear that?
But Shang's already heard it. Yeah, Shang's fully alert, still looking up, signals silence again. Then he does something practical.
Yeah.
He reaches over to an incense pot, grabs a pinch of ash, mutters a quick chant over it,
Okay.
and throws it forcefully towards the door. The novice sees the ash just vanish. Poof, like it hit something invisible.
Whoa. Okay, Shang's not just a helpful friend.
Not at all. Then, a brief silence,
Oh,
followed by footsteps moving around to the back of the kuti.
it's persistent.
And then, they hear Fra Crew's voice, calling out.
Fra Crew, for real this time.
Sounds exactly like him. Offering the milk, telling the novice to hurry down.
Oh, relief. Help has arrived.
That's what the novice thinks. He feels this wave of relief, starts to get up, ready to open the door. But Shane grabs his arm, hard. Whispers urgently, don't go out.
Why not?
Shane says, the teacher's been asleep for a long time.
Chilling. It's not Fra Crew, it's a trick.
A lure. And Shane's trying to keep the thing outside from realizing he's even in there.
Smart. But the novice heard the voice.
He's doubting Shang. So he creeps over to a little hole in the wall, a small window, and looks out.
And what does he see?
Not Fra Crew. He sees the same old woman. Raggy clothes, tongue hanging out, standing there with a big black dog next to her.
Oh my god. Confirmation. Pure terror.
And as he's looking, pink. A small stone hits the window right by his face.
It knows he's looking.
He jerks back, totally terrified now. Turns to Shang, probably white as a sheet.
And Shang, is he panicking?
Nope. Shang is strangely calm. He just asks the novice to fetch the rice basket.
The rice basket. A cranip cow. What for?
The novice has no idea, just does it. Shang takes the basket, they're woven bamboo.
Yeah.
He carefully takes apart a small bit of the weaving, then reassembles it, wrapping it with some thread, chanting the whole time.
A specific ritual using an everyday object. Interesting.
Then Shang walks around the kuti, looking down at the old wooden floorboards. He's searching for something.
A gap. A knothole.
Exactly. He finds one. And he drops the little thing he made from the rice basket through the hole, down onto the ground beneath the kuti.
Targeting whatever's underneath.
Seems so, because within minutes, sounds erupt from under the floor.
What kind of sounds?
Hitting, like something's being whacked with a stick,
Yeah.
repeatedly. I think you're sad.
Okay, the ritual worked.
Followed by this horrible laughter from underneath.
Yeah.
And a voice taunting them. You can't do it like me, you sons of bitches.
It's fighting back. And it's angry.
And then it gets violent. The whole kuti starts shaking violently, like someone's jumping up and down on the roof or rocking the whole structure.
Whoa, okay. Physical attack now. Escalation.
Shang looks out the door quickly, and the novice says his face went pale. He knew this was serious.
What does Shang do?
He reacts fast, grabs a red cloth talisman from Frog Crew's bag, that same bag from the night before.
Okay, pulling out the bigger defenses.
He holds up the cloth and starts chanting. A powerful incantation. The novice says it sounded like Bali or Sanskrit.
And the novice recognizes it?
Yes. He recognizes it as a chant his grandfather, Long Ta Soon, used to use. It ends with this plea for protection, for the destruction of enemies.
The ancestral power, the lineage connection.
Exactly. And as Shang finishes chanting, the hitting sound comes back. The stick hitting something.
But different this time.
Yeah, continuous, forceful, like a relentless beating. Day, non-stop.
Oh, wow. Turning the tables.
And then they hear the old woman's voice again, but now she's crying out in pain, begging them to stop, saying she's scared.
The power of the chant, the talisman, it's working.
Shang isn't done. He calls out really powerfully, "Hell will eat your head. How dare you seek revenge on a novice, a descendant of the Buddha?"
Strong words.
He goes on, "Last night wasn't enough for you, huh? That's why you came back."
Confronting it directly.
And the old woman's voice answers, but it sounds defeated now. She says she didn't know he was a student of the previous meme, Abbott calls him Yakru.
A sign of respect or maybe just identification.
She says she's leaving. She won't come back.
And
then silence again. Everything stops. The shaking, the sounds, the voice. It's over.
just over. Wow, what a night.
The novice is just completely floored, bewildered. Xiang just tells him, I'll explain in the morning.
Yeah, sleep probably wasn't happening anyway.
No kidding. So the next morning, Xiang lays it all out.
Finally, the explanation.
Yeah. Xiang says the previous abbot had told him something important about Luang Ta Sun, the novice's grandfather.
What was that?
That Luang Ta Sun had the power to defeat pop ghosts. He was known for it. Locals relied on him.
Ah, so the grandfather was a ghost fighter, basically.
Pretty much. But as he got older, his power started to fade. And he worried about the novice.
So sending him to Fra Cru wasn't just about discipline.
It was about protection, too. Luang Ta Sun asked Fra Cru to take him in, partly to keep him safe.
Safe from what? Or who?
Safe from this pop ghost. Xiang explained this specific ghost was one Luang Ta Sun had driven away years ago.
And it held a grudge.
Exactly. It couldn't get to Luang Ta Sun anymore, so it targeted the novice someone close to him. The, I couldn't do it to him, so I'll do it to you, line finally makes sense.
Wow, that connects everything. So Xiang knew about this.
Xiang knew the area had pop ghosts, yes. And for a crew, knowing Xiang had these inherited abilities from the old abbot, kept Xiang close by. Partly for protection.
Protection for the novice.
Seems likely. Xiang even revealed he'd chased this same ghost away just 2 nights before the first attack.
So it was already lurking.
Yeah. The first night, it got into the novice's cootie simply because the door was unlocked. Its goal. Xiang said it intended to consume his body.
Horrifying.
When that failed, partly thanks to the dog and the stick sound maybe, it came back the second night. But it didn't realize Xiang was there, ready for it.
And Xiang used that specific chant.
Right. He told the novice it was the incantation of Tau Kuvera, or Tau Wesuan, sometimes called the ghost smashing spell.
Which the novice recognized from his grandfather.
Exactly. Xiang even mentioned this spell is said to be so strong it can make possessed people vomit disgusting things, or even expel stuff like eels.
Whoa, serious spiritual weaponry.
So, naturally, after going through all that, the novice asked Xiang, hey, can you teach me some of this stuff?
Makes sense, self-defense.
But Xiang refused. Said for a crew absolutely forbade teaching that kind of thing, dark arts or unconventional knowledge, he called it to a novice.
Why?
Feared he might misuse it or get arrogant with the power. Plus, Xiang warned him, don't tell anyone this story, they'll think you're crazy.
Probably good advice, honestly.
Then the novice says he took that advice, kept quiet, acted normally,
And the ghost.
never came back to his kuti.
Wow, what a story.
It really is. So, wrapping up this deep dive, you heard this incredible, terrifying account from the novice himself, facing this entity, this pop ghost, right in his own room at the temple.
And the key role of his friend Xing, using these very traditional, specific protective practices. It wasn't just random chanting, it was targeted.
Yeah, it touches on these, really deep-rooted beliefs about supernatural beings like the pop ghost, and how knowledge and protection get passed down.
Right, across generations. From Luang Ta Sun's reputation, to the previous abbot teaching Xiang, to Xiang protecting the novice. But it also shows that even sacred spaces aren't maybe automatically safe.
That's a key point.
Right.
The ghost targeted him because of his connection to Luang Ta Sun. And you saw all the layers of protection. The temple itself, Luang Ta Sun's legacy, Fra Cru's guidance, and Xiang's direct intervention with chants and rituals.
It really makes you think, if a place considered holy, like a temple, can still be vulnerable to something like this, what does protection really mean? What do people turn to when faced with things that seem impossible or just utterly terrifying?
Yeah, what forms of understanding or spiritual defense do people seek out? It's a big question raised by this very personal story.
Definitely food for thought.
A story that might make you double-check your door lock tonight and maybe wonder about, unseen forces, even in places you think are completely safe.
A powerful narrative.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into a truly chilling encounter.